Hey guys, so I get a lot of questions in my thing. At least they seem like a lot to me, and I don't mind none of the questions. And I don't mind the comments as long as there's not a bunch of stupid criticism from somebody who doesn't know any better. I'll read every one of them, and I read a couple there, and over the past month, I guess, or so, and they were asking me, would I buy the LT15 again, or would I get the LT35 or whatever is the next saw up? And let me put it to you like this. I really like this LT15. It is not a chore to crank it, okay? It is not a chore to walk back and forth. Because look at it this way, even if I stood up at the end, and I could, cut this thing, I still got to get the board somewhere. I got to put it somewhere. So I still have to either have somebody else take that board and do something with it, or I have to do something with it. And since no matter how hard I try to hire people or whatever I try to do, it's hard to get people to really help you. I don't know, it seems like the younger generation's not interested in anything except breaking rules, which isn't helpful to anybody. But anyway, I want to get off of that. I really like this LT15. I think that it's worth every penny I paid for it. The couple of little tiny things that I had go wrong with it are minor. The major thing in the beginning was I had hit a nail when I first bought it, and this is the first time I used a bandsaw mill. I had other mills, but not a bandsaw mill, and I didn't realize how bad a nail goofed that thing up. Especially when it goes through the nail. So, once I figured that out, and then I was able to do the sharpening, this is just a dream. On the sides of the sawmill, though, you do have to, and I'll make a video, oil that stuff up so that you don't have any trouble with it. You got to realize that it just stopped raining this morning. When I took the dog out this morning, it was sort of like mist and drizzling. So on that side over there, because I was walking, the sawdust on the log, the sawdust is a little wet, there's moisture in the log, but also there's moisture in the concrete. And when I was walking on that, it kind of made it hard to blow away. Normally on a sunny day, it just blows right off. But we're not talking about anything major here. I mean, I didn't even have to shovel it. All I had to really do was, use the leaf blower. But they asked me if there's anything that I wish I would have changed. I really don't want the thing that goes down automatically and comes back up. I feel like if I was going to make a move, what I want is something that's going to stack the board somewhere. And I don't think they really have that, I mean, I'd like something that pull the board off, move it over to the side, and it's not worth spending that much money on it, especially when you're doing what I'm doing right now. If I had, an order that was very big for somebody that wanted a whole lot of stuff, then it would be different. I might want to go to something different. But cutting this wood with this thing is as easy as can be. It's not really that hard. Now, I'm not saying that, if you have a bad back or something and, you have someone that'll help you, then you might want to go to a mill that's got some more gadgets on it. As far as the, like having a chain on here to pull a mill up ramps, that I will never have. I'm not going to need it because of the backhoe. But I'll tell you one thing, if you don't have a backhoe, you better get those ramps, because there's no way you're going to get the log up on this by yourself. Especially some of these logs that are, a log that's bigger than 10 inches, believe me, you can't move by yourself. Now maybe a young guy can toss one end around if he wants to. I'm just saying, it's very hard to get the log up on here. So you want to have something hydraulic, and not only that, I wanted to make that crane to show people that you could use a crane to pick it up and set it on. You don't have to have a backhoe, but you do have to have a way to get the logs right next to where you're working. If you have something that they can roll down on or whatever, from your storage area, then, that's a good thing. But as far as I'm concerned, I am totally satisfied with this. And what I want you to realize is I didn't just look at sawmills for, you know, a day or a weekend and or 2 weekends and decide I wanted a sawmill. I've been looking at these sawmills for 15 years, knowing that I wanted to get one, but I wasn't ready yet. I had a lot of things to do with the house here. I had to build 3 garages and stuff, so, you know, I needed to do that work before I did anything else. But yeah, that's my honest opinion. I mean, like I say, Wood Miser doesn't pay me to say this stuff. This is my mill. I bought it from Wood Miser. They don't pay me for anything, and I'm not saying it for their sake. What I am saying is that this LT15 is a good mill. It's run very, very good. I've been totally happy with it. I'm on my 3rd year with it. Yeah, I don't see why somebody wouldn't want to have something like this. Now, you know, if you don't need, if you're only cutting a little bit of wood for yourself, I mean, I've cut quite a bit of wood for myself, and once I get going, I'll have a lot of, you know, work to do with the wood I've already cut. But a smaller mill, you know, might not be bad. They make an LT15 I saw that had a smaller frame on it. I don't think I like that idea of the frame, especially if you're using a backhoe or loader to set the logs on, because you never know if the chain will let go or something when you're lowering it and it's going to drop. I'd rather have something that's pretty tough like this that can bounce a little rather than you know, bend. So that's why I like this one, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't get a smaller one to get started with. Like I say, for me, it's not an issue. I don't have an issue with it. I could cut all day with walking back and forth. It's not a problem for me. Now, let me just say, when I say it's not a problem, I get tired, okay? And sometimes I have a backache depending upon what I've been picking up and stuff. So it's not like I'm freaking Superman, because I'm not. All I'm saying is, with the way I run this and the way it goes for me, I end up with nice wood, and I have not put a lot of effort into it. I mean, I can't say that I did $400 worth of work to get the $400 worth of red oak. I can't say that because I didn't. But it's worth having, and I really believe that, you know, if you're gonna get a mill, get the freaking thing, stop talking about it and get it. You know, learn how to use it, and you would be surprised the people that come around buying off you, you know, people that want some of the stuff you have, and just the fact that you don't have to go buy lumber anymore. I mean, I used to go down to Walmart or Lowe's probably, oh my God, I can't even tell you. I mean, with all the stuff I built, I've been to Lowe's a whole bunch of times. You know, I have a stack of Lowe's receipts probably that thick, or maybe twice that, especially if I include the house I'm building up there. And I just needed the lumber. And right now, with where I live and stuff, you can build the outer buildings other than the house with this kind of lumber, so there's nothing wrong with it. And, you know, being able to cut siding with it and a couple other things, I've been looking at being able to cut what looks like a log home, you know, with the rounded edge and a little piece coming up that you could put another log over. I'm actually been looking at something like that. I don't know if I could make one of those, or I would have to buy it, but I've been looking at it. Now, I don't really have anything that's log looking here, so I really don't need that. And since I can cut 8-inch bevel siding, that bevel siding works good, and it holds up good. So, you know, I don't really need to have the log thing. So I'm not thinking about, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not, you know, I'm not into getting it at the moment. So anyway, you've been watching me for quite a while with this sawmill. You haven't seen me curse and carry on with it. The only time I get upset is if I hit one of the back stops or the dog or something, then I get upset. Other than that, I've had a lot of good times with it over the past 2.5 years. So I would suggest that, you know, if you're going to get a mill, get a mill, you know, learn how to use it. I've left people come here and run this mill. A bunch of people have come here And once they run it and they see what they can get out of it, they're very happy with it, and then they end up buying themselves one. Yeah, so that's all I can basically say about this. I got to do that little bit of temporary, not temporary, but maintenance on here yet. I got to sharpen the blade, and if you noticed, I cut through all of that, and that bottom board was not bent because the blade was cutting bad, because all the other boards there are nice and straight. It bent because the log itself was actually wanting to lift, and it didn't lift until I got the last board off, and then it picked up. You can figure it was only like a 10-inch log or so, so you're not going to get, you know, a whole lot of power in it. Sometimes you do, but it wasn't a whole lot of power. But once I got down to the fifth board, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, once I cut the fifth board, that last board sort of picked itself up, and that's why I ended up with the cut I did. But other than that, and you know, you can actually see things like that taking place. I just figured I'm going to cut it and let it go, because I don't really need this lumber at the moment. I'm going to put it in the kiln as soon as I get the kiln cleaned out. But I want to wait to clean the kiln out until it's nice and warm, that I can bring the planer out here and work with it. I'm going to bring my Gibraltar, yeah, is it Gibraltar? No, Grizzly planer. I'm going to bring that out here and use that one, I think, to do the planing this time around, especially on that nice white ash that I have. Yeah, so like I say, you know, for me, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with cranking it. I would not want to be on the opposite side cutting either. I want to be where I can see the blade coming out of the cut. It just seems better to me. I don't know why. I can't really answer you why, but it just seems better to me. So I'm all for Wood-Mizer, this LT15. Now, I know they make great big mills, you know, and you can get all kinds of stuff from them, so, you know, that would be up to you how far you want to go with it. If I was a young man and I thought that this milling might be my livelihood for good, I would probably buy an LT15 to start off. I don't think I'd buy, or not an LT15, LT35 or maybe a bigger one, just so I could get a lot more done, you know, if I had a buddy who was helping me and all. But for me, the speed that I go, this thing is fine. If I was going to start, you know, in a young age, like if I was in my 30s or 40s and I was just starting this, I think I would buy a little bit bigger mill, just so it would help me do some of the things that I can't get it to do otherwise, you know. But I mean, I made whatever I needed for the mill. The toe board, I have, you know, the things on the dogs here that work nice. I made those. So yeah, there's a couple things that you could have that would be better, you know, little things, but it's not worth, to me, trading this mill off for something else just because of a little thing. So I just fix them or add to them or do whatever I have to do. So guys, I had gotten a lot of comments also about, you know, Sally and I staying put. And believe me, for the most part, we have been staying put. My problem right now is I'm trying to get the doctor to give us a 3-month supply of medicine, because even though my county only claims to have 2 sick people, you know, it doesn't take much to double, triple, quadruple that in no time, and I really don't want to have to go into town. But, you know, you gotta have some certain kinds of medicine. But I'll tell you what, if worse comes to worse, as long as I have insulin, that's all I care about. They can't give me 90 days of the other stuff. I mean, come on, you know, they used to give me 90 days. It's not like I've been taking it as drugs. But I don't know what Pennsylvania's going to do. But anyway, it would be nice if they did do that, especially during this time here that we have. So anyway, guys, nice sunny day, partly sunny, I should say. I'll show you the clouds up there. It's not like there's no clouds, because there is. You can see this is looking in the same direction the sun's shining. Then the sun's up there. So we got a nice cloudy, not cloudy day, but partly cloudy. So it's supposed to get a little better the rest of the week, and I hope it does, because then I can do more sawmilling, and maybe I'll bring the, you know, if it's, see, my problem right now is it's only 38 degrees out here. It's not like it's 50. So I'm wearing this stuff, I'm sweating now, but like where I sweat, I'm getting cold. So I don't want to bring the planer out until I know it's going to be done for, snowing. And I'm not sure it's done snowing until the middle of May. Okay, May 15th. If there's no snow and it's not calling for snow, then I'll bring the planer out and start then. So that's more than a month away yet. So that's my problem. But with getting some of this wood cut here nice, I'll be able to cut this down to 8 footers, get them put on there on the planer, and I should be in good shape then. Alright guys, so that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.